So as we recently learned from an interview with EW, it's all thanks to Spider-Man and Captain America Civil War that the Falcon and the Winter Soldier became a reality. So let's talk about this creative process and how they got to where they got. So this bit of news comes from Malcolm Spellman, who is the writer of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and he specifically reflects on the moments that led to the show's creation and what they used to pitch it. And essentially, it all boils down to the action sequence that involves Bucky, Falcon, and Spider-Man in the airport in Civil War. It was during the production of this, when Spider-Man was approved to be used, that the two actors really kicked it off and their dynamic really got to be highlighted for the first time. Which also ties into the car sequence where the two share that moment where you see that they're like a dysfunctional couple, if you will, almost. And it was these ideas that tied it in with the banter between the two characters fighting Spider-Man that gave them the idea of, could we write something like this with both of these characters, and what do we do with them? And then going on into Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame, when that story started to shape up and seeing where the characters go and where the characters would end up, they realized once we get to the end of Endgame, it gives us the door and the ability to actually go in and explore these two characters being friends, because one shared common thread between them, Steve Rogers, is no longer there. So how do they interact with each other now? And I really do like that process, because if you really think about it, it does come at us organically. And if you go back and watch Civil War, which I recently did, watched all the Captain Americas leading up to Falcon and Winter Soldier, you see that relationship slowly builds up, and you see how the two very much have the same sort of a childish mentality towards each other, but it's friendly. It's friendly banter and witty banter against each other, which I think ultimately is what makes the two characters work together the best. And another little thing they did say was the fact that Zemo, being the central character that they wanted for Falcon and Winter Soldier, was also another thing tying it back to Civil War, because they looked at it and they go, well, if these characters are doing this and they're doing it because of what Zemo has done, well, I guess it only makes sense that they would have this type of relationship. So again, it all ties back to Civil War. It's always interesting to see how these big ensembles always lead to these a little more smaller scale outings for Marvel characters. Pretty awesome, and I guess maybe somewhat foreshadowing it in these. I mean, maybe not really though, because they technically didn't know they would do this show at the time, but you could see the seeds planted.